Hello everyone, I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Nathan.
And together we run Holistic Hounds, and in today's video we are going to tell you a little bit about ourselves, our past, and what our vision for Holistic Hounds is moving forward.
So stay tuned to find out more. So I started dog training 12 years ago, and I've always loved dogs and I've never looked back from it. As a young child I was always trying to find dogs apparently, and I was running off from my mother trying to find all the local dogs to stroke and say hello to. So I've always loved dogs, and I started dog training in a village hall with clicker training, and I did that for 5 years. I was on the committee, used to teach some of the advanced level dog training there. But I noticed that a lot of dogs would come and arrive and then leave, and they didn't really get much better. I noticed the dogs would pull them into the village hall, and the excuses were the dog liked being in the class. Not that the fact of the matter is the dogs didn't really know how to heel, apart from in that village hall. So anyway, it made me want to branch out and look. So I found a local dog trainer in Berkshire who did different dog training methods. But it gave me the understanding of seeing all 4 operative conditioning quadrants. I got to get hands-on experience with really reactive dogs, and that's where I found my passion for human aggression dogs and being able to help rehabilitate them into society.
Yeah. So I'm very similar to Nathan, have always loved dogs. We had dogs when I was a kid, and my sister and I used to absolutely love just doing stuff with the dogs. We'd make, agility courses out in the garden, pretend we were competing in agility and stuff like that. But I guess it really changed for me when we have a family dog called Joey, who's a collie, and he was attacked by another dog when he was a puppy and became reactive as a result of that. And I was trying everything that I could at the time, but I was very young at the time and didn't really know what to do with him. I spoke to a lot of trainers in the area, and a lot of them just simply said that because he was reactive they couldn't help. I eventually got in contact with a very respected local trainer, and she basically said that I could bring him along to classes. So I brought him along to classes under her recommendation, and we didn't even make it halfway through the first class before we were asked to leave because it was way too much for Joey. We ended up being stuck in a corner with 2 trainers trying desperately to get his attention, but he wouldn't take treats or toys or anything like that. And so they basically asked us to leave and said that they were unable to help us. And that was kind of the last thing that we did with him, where we kind of went, there must be something else. So I eventually, after looking through a million different training companies in the area, found the place that Nathan was working at. And that's where we first met. I started doing a lot of volunteer work there, not specifically with Joey, but just working with the dogs and working and understanding more behavioural side of things and more reactivity cases. And although I didn't click with the training there, Nathan and I then got back into contact with each other a year or so later, and I started working with him under his previous business to help with Joey. And that's how we first met. I kind of was under the impression that if nobody could help, then I would have to be that person somehow, and so I was really interested in studying canine psychology and behaviour. Oh, thank you, Lulu. And still, I love the psychology behind behaviour and stuff like that. And so that's kind of what encouraged me to get into dog training, and specifically working with rescue dogs, because I have a real passion with working for rescue cases. All of our dogs that you'll meet a little bit later are all rescue cases. And that's kind of where I started. And where we met.
Exactly.
So yeah, we met at this dog training place, and got into contact probably I think a year or so after you and I both had left.
Yeah, so I went over to America. I went over to Los Angeles to go and work with Brian Aiken and Sherry Lucas, 2 highly respected trainers. They're just incredible at what they do and their kind of industry. And so I went out there, and it helped me find my kind of system of how I wanted to train and find myself a little bit. So then I decided to depart from the training centre that I was with, and I created a company called Balance Energy Canine Training, which was an amazing business. I ran it on my own with help of others for a few years, and then Charlotte, as she was saying, brought Joey along, and within one session we had him off lead around dogs.
I still remember that session. I'm sure I still have a video of that somewhere.
Bawling your eyes out.
Of me crying with
Yep.
Joey running around playing with 2 other dogs, which
Yep.
he'd never done before.
Yep.
He was just terrified of other dogs, bless him.
And we worked through it, and then Charlotte decided to share her interest more with me, and she sat down and joined and started doing some social media and coming out on shadow days, and just got to know what it was like to be working in a dog training business.
Yeah, and it was a really great experience for me, because although I had a lot of the knowledge and I had a lot of the qualifications that you need, I didn't have a lot of hands-on experience. No. And you know, working with Nathan in those early years was just invaluable for me to get experience handling lots of different dogs and working with different cases. Which
is what we see a lot in the industry. It's a lot of people have great qualifications, but the practical element is where it fails. And the problem is this job is incredibly practical. Yes, I didn't go to university and I didn't do fancy science degrees or anything like that. I just got my hands dirty and got on with it, and I wouldn't have changed that for the world, because it created the training that we've got.
Yeah.
So, a year and a half ago, January 2021, we created Holistic Hounds out of Balance Energy Canine Training. As I said, Balance Energy Canine Training was a hell of a long name, and this part of the reason we had to rebrand it. And it'd been running for 5 years, and successfully for 5 years, but it couldn't get too much bigger without getting a lot bigger. So we made the choice to create Holistic Hounds. Charlotte thought of the awesome name.
You're welcome.
And Holistic Hounds was born, but it was born not as a training business, but as a business to help in so many other ways.
Yeah, so both of us kind of had this dream of having a business that would offer dog owners the best advice in all aspects of dog ownership and care. So one thing that we both found... Hi, Odin. One thing that we both found really challenging, especially as young people in the dog industry, is that there's a lot of difference of opinion, there's a lot of information out there that's very one-sided, or there's information that's not might not be 100% accurate, and it can be really difficult, especially as a new dog owner, and even as a dog owner that you've had dogs for many years, to know what the right thing to do is, because things are always changing, there's always new studies, and it can be very difficult to navigate the dog world and figure out what is best for your dog.
Well, we get confused. I mean, we look at new things and, this is being said, and we sit there and get confused sometimes.
Well, we're constantly looking up at studies and looking at all the details and speaking to professionals, and that was kind of the dream behind Holistic Hounds, was to create a business where we would partner with professionals in order to offer you as dog owners, professionals, or just people interested in dogs, the best possible advice on all aspects of dog care. Yeah. So, although fundamentally we are a training company, we also have a team who have qualifications in nutrition, holistic health. We have partnered with other professionals. So we have Tony Nevin, who is an animal osteopath, who we regularly do work with, and he is absolutely incredible. We are partnered with a few dog walkers and boardings. We work with the groomers. We've worked with hydrotherapy. We've worked with... physios and chiropractors, and it's all in order to offer you the best possible advice and support that you can when navigating caring for your dog. Because that's what our dream is to be a company where you can come along and say, I've got a question about a dog, and us go, here's the best advice we can possibly offer, or here's 6 different options that are all really great options, pick what's best for you.
And we want you to be able to go and see all the individuals in Holistic Hounds and walk away without people contradicting each other. I always remember I went to the vet once, I think it was Lottie.
Yeah.
And we saw one vet and she was like, right, we need to do this test and this test and this test and this test. And we were a bit unsure because they were racking up thousands of pounds of tests, and they weren't trying to steal any money. They generally were trying to do the best for her.
Yeah.
She really wasn't well at this point. Anyway, we went back the next day because her symptoms had changed a little bit, and we saw another vet, and they were like, well, none of that's right. We need to do this, this and this. And I just remember walking away so confused, and that's what we want to create. We want to create a place where you can see 10 different people and walk away with one message and one knowledge. Not 10 different conversations in your head for you then to go home and become the next Google doctor to try and work out what's going on, which we all know is terrible advice.
Yeah. So, you know, we're working really hard on partnering with other professionals within the dog industry who can add to the knowledge that we have. We also are working really hard within our team on doing lots of CPD and professional development training so that our team can continue to grow in their knowledge. And if there's other aspects that they're interested in, we encourage our team to take courses and to go on, you know, weekends or whatever, in order to grow their knowledge and their experience so that we can offer you the best advice that we possibly can.
Most
as a
current
company.
and up-to-date advice as well.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's kind of where Holistic Hounds started. I will put some clips in introducing you to all of our dogs. Nathan and I have 5 dogs. As I said, they're all rescues from various walks of life. This is Lottie, Princess, and this is Odin, the king, obviously. But you'll find out a little bit more about them. Hi, gorgeous. A little bit later. But yeah, Nathan and I are very passionate about dogs and just being able to help as many people as we can with their dogs.
So thank you so much for supporting us through Becked and Holistic Hounds now. And because we wouldn't be here without you guys, so thank you.
So yeah, I'll stick the clips introducing all of our dogs for you in a second. But before that, we just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for supporting us and being a part of this journey, because we know that you love learning about our business just as much as we love sharing about it. So thank you so much. If you haven't already, please do like and subscribe to our channel to see more of our content. And if you have any questions, any at all, stick them in the comments, get in contact. We will happily advise you in whatever way that we can, and if we don't, we probably know somebody that can help. And that's the whole point of this business. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye guys.
So this is India, or nicknamed Wiggle Bum. She is about 10 years old, so she's our eldest out of our pack. She was brought over from Romania as a puppy, so she's some sort of a pointer mix. And Nathan got her when she was about 6 or 8 months old, quite young. She came to him with reactivity towards people and dogs, and had bitten both, and has done lots of rehab work. She still can be a little bit nervous of people that she doesn't know, but she's nicknamed Wiggle Bum because when she gets to know you and she likes you, she has a whole wiggly bum, don't you, sweetheart? So yeah, this is our eldest little girl. Please. This is Lottie, also known as Princess Lou. She is a spaniel mix that we've had for a good few years now. She is about 6 or 7 this year. We got her at 11 months old. So she was a client's dog that we were doing work with as a puppy. She was showing resource guarding over food and sometimes some random objects. And unfortunately it just didn't work out in the home that she was in, and so she came to us for training. She is a very happy little spaniel. And she's nicknamed Princess Lou because she is a princess, basically. If you know Lottie, you will understand. This is Peanut. She is a staffy. She's about 8 or 9, we think now. She was a rescue that was found tied up on the side of the road and was rescued by her previous owners. She was reactive towards people and could be a bit snappy with dogs. Her owners did absolutely amazing with her and made loads of progress, and they had a baby a few years ago now, and unfortunately found out that the baby was very allergic to her. And so she originally came to us for rehoming, and we love her. P. So yeah, she ended up staying with us. Her nickname is Pee. Yes, that's your nickname, isn't it? She loves a good cuddle and anything that she can play with, mainly balls. You like your balls, don't you? Good girl. So this is Nova. Nova is about 5 or 6, we think. We're not 100% sure. She is a German Shepherd who was rescued by her owner as a puppy. There was some talk when she was a puppy of some abuse when in her previous home, and we're not 100% sure what her history was. When she was with her previous owner, she was quite reactive towards people and had bitten. So she came to us originally for training, did really well. We didn't see any aggression issues or any problems with people, just that she was a little bit uncomfortable. Unfortunately, when we took her back home, her owner was quite unwell and wasn't able to keep caring for her. So she came to us for rehoming. Nathan always wanted a German Shepherd, and she just is such a sweetheart. that we ended up deciding to keep her. Unfortunately, she had cancer a few years ago, and so she doesn't have a tail. She had to have that amputated a few years back now, but is still very happy. Hey Nova Nu. And one of her nicknames is Little Stumpy. But yeah, she's a very happy girl despite the fact that she doesn't have much of a tail, and is very happy to wag her little stump at you. Hi Nova. Good girl. So this little guy is Odin. Odin is about 6 years old, and he is a rescue case that we worked with in partnership with a rescue centre called the Red Foundation. We had applied to adopt through them, and we're looking for specifically a male smaller dog. They're a Dachshund rescue, so you know, he's a Dachshund. He was a behavioural case that we ended up working with after his owner wasn't able to keep him because he was showing reactivity towards people and dogs and had quite bad separation anxiety. So we ended up taking him on as a rescue, as a behavioural case for the rescue, and did some work with him. He did incredibly well. He is just the biggest character. We're still working through some of his anxiety issues because they can take quite a while to help, but he's just doing amazingly well. He is such a big character and is great fun. His nickname is the King. He is king of the pack and everybody knows it, don't they, boy? Yes, they do. Good boy.